So good afternoon, everyone. Today I will be more concentrating on the creation of visuals in report view. So I have already shared the data of Superstore with you. So we just start with the very starting, from the very starting of the exercise, how to go about in the Power BI. So are you able to see the interface of Power BI? Okay, good
Yes, ma'am.
afternoon, Prateek. Yeah. So this is the very initial stage. Once you log into, once you double click and open the Power BI interface. So this is the very first screen where you can see that it has the options like you have file, right? Where you can import, where you can get data. So get data is there in the main interface also, and you have import and export features. We will try to export the data, and we will try to export the data in terms of PDF. If your charts are ready, so it can be incorporated in PPT, etc. That can be seen. Then we start with the get data, as it is a very first initial stage under home. Right. So under home, we have get data, which is more frequently used when you have to connect the data. Then there is a transform data, which is again very, very important feature. And most of the time we will be using it, as it is one of the important like option which is available. So, and in the left hand side, you can see that there are three options which are there. The first is the report view. So today we are concentrating on report view. The second option is the data view. Tomorrow we will be more concentrating on the query editing, and we will be starting with the data view. What are the different options that you can do in the data view? There are different shortcuts also. You can transform the data very easily in the data view. So we will be covering it tomorrow by taking a data set and doing that. And the third option is the model view. Model view normally looks for the relationship between the more one or the more column if it is there. So as we have already decided what like we are working on, we will be working on the option that is the Superstore data. So as it is the extent, tomorrow we will be covering the different types of data set also, like if you want to connect some web data, I will be showing you if you want to connect some web data. And if you want to use the PDF data, how to use different kinds of data sets, how it can be incorporated in the Power BI. So today we will be starting with the Excel data, as I already shared with you. So when I go for the get data, right? So this is the option because I have chosen Excel. If this is a CSV file, so if I click on CSV, then the Excel option won't be there. So it is based on your selection of the option. You will be getting the option as you will be getting to connect the file with your interface. So it will be taking some time to enable it, right? So it is enable it once the data is there, right? So there are two options which are there where you can add the tables, right? So these are the different sheets in the Excel. I have orders, I have people, I have returns, right? So I will be more using this 3 sheet only, because these are something which are the unique sheet, and 1, 2, and 3. This is a duplicate of this sheet. So what I does is I use only the 3 sheets. So depending upon your requirement, you can use either 1 sheet, 2 sheet, or 3 sheet. It is totally based on your this thing, but you can have a multiple sheet also. Then there are two options which is there. One is load and one is transform, and the another one is cancel. When you know that your data is data is the correct data, and data does not have any cleaning which is required on the data, we normally go for the loading of data. When the data is clear and it is ready to upload, then you will be using a loading option. If you find any data which has null values, missing values, in those cases we use or we go for the transform data, right? So presently, because this data, we already know that it is going to be used for the data. So it is a clean data. So I go for the option and say, if you go for a transform data, that again, there is no problem because it is going to be upload anyway. But instead of, because first it will be loading and then it will be transforming the data for the correctness. So what I want that data to be, because it's a corrected data, so I want data to be loaded. So these are the 3 sheets which I am which I have already loaded. Right, so it is taking some time where it is connecting to the model, where it is uploading data, records are uploading, and it is taking some time to do so. Right. So you can see that the number of records has been mentioned as once the data is being uploaded, that is 9,000 something, and 1,000 data set in the other 2 options which are available. So if you have loaded the data, now the next step is you can see that there is a data plane, like say there are 3 types of plane which are there, right? At the right hand side, there is a data plane, right hand side. Once you have the uploaded the data, this can be seen with what all data details have uploaded. Then there is a visualization, there are filters, right? So by default, there are 3 panes which are available. So I will be using the data first, right? So I can click on the data. I can see that this is my table which is there, which is imported, and the time and the details which are there. And these are the options which is there, the columns which is having a summation, that are the numeric columns, right? They are the numeric, they are the measures. And the other options which are available is without the summation, they are the dimensions, or they are the alphabets, or they are some categories or so. So if you can see that I have certain these many columns which are there. So this you can see that these are all the columns of my first table, right? Then I have the second table called the people. So there are 2 columns which are there for the people. And there is a third table which is called as the return. So column name is not mentioned. So I can see, I can check out why it is not mentioned, right? And the order table, we have all the columns which are mentioned in the data set clearly, and with the data types also. So what can I do is, if I want to see the data view of the tables, like say, the one way is you can go to the Excel and you can see what are the data details which are there. And the second way is, because it is already you have ported in the Power BI, so you can use this data view to see this option. So if I click on data view, I can see that these are the row IDs which are available, right? So these are the row ID. The first column is the row ID. The second is the order ID. Then there is the order date. If you can see that this order date is not in the date format, right? So if you can see that it is 43298, which is coming out to be, if you can consider, or if you can check what is the data type of the date. So data type of date is considered to be the whole number, right? So it is saved as this data type is saved as a number. It is not a date. So what I can do is I can, because the date which I am going to use, I want to use this date as my year, to fetch the year, to fetch the month, right? So I want it to be in the date format. So I can check, I can put it in the date format. So I can see that the dates which are, because this is at the backend, they are in the date format only. So these are the dates which has mentioned. Now, if I want to check with the format, this format which has, because the date by default has the day like Tuesday and the date which is there. This which is a very long format. So to make it very simple, I just want it to be having the year, day, and the month which is there. So I use this format for my putting my date. A similar way, if you're using the ship date also, that should be in the format. So I can select the ship date. I can have again the same because that is again in the different format. So I can take it as date and I can take it as the format that is 2007, right? So the ship date is in the format, then ship mode. There are different types of mode which is there. If I want to see that how many types of mode. So there are first class, same class, then there is a second class and standard class. So there are 4 different options which is there for the ship mode. Customer ID are the unique ID for the customer. If you can see that the customer, if the customer is suppose AA0, AA0315. So if I can see that there is a unique record for how many records or how many purchases that has done by this customer. So customer and the customer name, if you can see that the customer, because of the customer name is same, the segment type is same, the location is same, right? So a city, he might have visited to different cities for the purchases, so that's why it is different. Otherwise, the customer name and segment is the same. Based on maybe he has shifted to some place or maybe he has purchases. So that's why he has traveled to different regions for the same. Right. So customer ID and so you can use filter. You can have you can see that there are the text filter which is there as we have seen in the last yesterday also. If there is a character, then it will be showing as a text filter. If it is a number, then it is showing as a number filter. Then you have the different segments for the consumer. There is a corporate, there is a home service, like say what is the segment of the purchase for a particular this thing. Then you have a country is only one. Cities are many cities are there, right? Country, it is only for the US data, so that's why it is only one country. The state is again, there are many states which are there. So states and cities are, you can, if you want to identify something that can be done. Then there is a region, right? So there is the region as east, west, north, south. Then you have northeast, northwest, and southwest. There is a product ID, which is again a unique ID for each and every product. Then you have subcategory, then you have product name, which is a very lengthy name, which is there. Then there is a sales, there is a option called quantity, then there is a discount, there is profit. So the one way is like say if you click on the profit and you can see that the profit is with a decibel of more than 2, then sometimes it is 5 also, like 3 point something, right? 1.7901, right? So what I want it to be in the only 2 decimal. So this is already the decimal type. Then you can have the general category. If you click on the general category, then there must be a decimal number. Then you can click on the decimal number and it can be defined as 2. By default, it is defined as 2. So if you want it for 3 or if you want it for 1, then you can change the decimal type, and accordingly all the values get changed according to that. Similarly, for the sales also, it is 0.88 if you want to have a round off, and then you can go to the format, click on decimal, go to the format, click on decimal number, and then have the by default as 2. If you want to make it as 1, then you can click 1, and by default it will be. So you don't have to fit the, or you don't, but or it will automatically happens. Like say when I make it as 1, it is working, and now it has been done. Right. So I take a pause. If you find any difficulty up to now, then let's discuss. Otherwise, I will move forward. So what all we have discussed, discussed so far is we have connect to the, we have used the get data, right? So I have used the get data. Okay, I just use. So we have used the option called get data, right? Next is we have we have seen the data view, right? Data view at the left corner. We have seen that data view which is available. It is data view or something. It is data, right? So it is a data view which is available. So we have seen the data view. Then next is we have seen all the tables and columns. Inside the data view, we have seen all the tables and columns. Then next we have moved to the data sheet view, right? Data view. So this is the data, and then when we have moved to the data view, we have seen the columns as well as rows. Once we have seen the columns and rows, we have identified that some of the columns have the data types can be changed. So the data type can be data types. We have seen the data types, and the decimal are worked upon, right? So this is what we have done. We have seen, we have used the get data. We had added one data set. It has 3 different sheets. We have added 3 sheets in the data. We have seen all the 3 sheets available. Then in the tables and columns, we have seen in the, there are the different tables and columns can be seen under the data. But when we go to the data view, we can see the rows as well. So by seeing the rows, we are able to identify that some of the data types of the data are not correct. So we had made it correct. We have changed the data types. We have used the decimal points to make it a better this thing. So this is what we have already done so far. So if anybody if you have any problem, then we can, or if you find any difficulty, we can stay for a while or take your questions. Otherwise, we will move to the next.
तो आपने डेसिमल कन्वर्शन बताया ना, वो एक बार फिर से बता दीजिए.
Decimal
Hello,
conversion.
good afternoon, Monica
Good
ma'am. I have
afternoon.
joined little bit late. I just
Okay.
want to know how to enter into the data and
Okay.
and
Okay. I quickly brief you. Yeah. Yes.
yes.
So there is an option under home. So when you click on home, or if you are at a very starting stage, you can get this get data at your main window only. So you click on the get data, we have, because this is an Excel sheet which is added upon. So that's why we click on Excel. And there is a sample store data, which I have already shared on the chat, on the WhatsApp group, as well as in the chat box. So this can be clicked, and then you can open. The next sheet will come as that where you can load the sheet. So if I click on this sheet and say the open, Then there will be another sheet which says that it can be load, right? So in that, whatever sheet you want to, you can select all the 3 sheets and say load, right? Once you click on load, then you will be getting all these 3 sheets will automatically come under the data, right? Asmat, I think you are able to do now.
Ma'am, this data set yesterday only you have shared or today?
Yesterday I have shared, today also I have shared.
Okay, fine. This yesterday wala is there with me. Okay, I'll do it.
Maybe there is some rows which are added in this particular sheet. So you can take the new one if you already have the new.
It is there in the chat
This-
box.
Yeah, in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, sure. I'll download it.
So I cancel this data because it is already being loaded. But if you have the data, if you want to delete some data, like say if I added again and if I want to delete it, so there is an option where you can click on these 3 dots, right? So in the right click, you can see that there are 3 dots which are available. You can go and then you can click on delete from model, right? So if you click on delete from model, then that will be deleted from your pivot interface. So if you have added some new tables and if you want to delete it, you just have to click on these 3 dots and click on delete from model. So that can be done. So
Yeah, I have already done, like I have through the Excel workbook, I have loaded the data. On the right hand side, it is showing order, people and returns, but like yourself, your Excel sheet, it's not showing me the Excel sheet.
Yeah, Excel sheet you can get from here. Right, so this is the data, this is there, then you click on data view, right? So this data can only show you the columns and the table name, right? So this data can show only the column names, and these are column names and this is the table name. The table name is the order, category, city, these are all the columns. Then you have another table that is called as the people, which has column 1 and column 2. Similarly, in the return, you have another 2 columns. So this shows only the columns and the table. But but the view, when you click on the view, right? So in that case, you will be getting all the details of the order.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I'm able to see now.
Okay. So there was one question by one of the, what was that query? I have missed one query. It was asked by, I think, Namrata or someone.
Data type in the decimals.
Decimals, yes. Yeah, so you have a data type, right? So I have clicked here, clicked on this particular sales, right? So once you click on this particular sales, then it is there in the home column 2. Okay. So once you click on the sales, there is a column, right? So it is a decimal by default. By default, it is available. This decimal is available, right? So what you can do, you can have you want a format to be the decimal places, right? So once you click on this format, there are different formats available. You want it to be in the currency or general or whole number or this. Because I want decimal to 1 places, so I click on decimal places and make it as 1. Right? Or if you want to make it as 2, then if you make it as 2, then it will be by default, you get a 2 decimal places data.
Okay. And how to net profit कैसे निकालेंगे मैम?
क्या निकालना है? What you want to find out?
Profit.
Okay, profit. Okay,
Yeah.
profit पे same. Once you click on this particular data, now it is working for this profit, right? It is, these are the columns which are by default in the table. So once you click on this, then there is a decimal, then you want to make it as a 2. So you can change it to 2. And once you click on anywhere
minute,
else, then
sir.
this is there
Just,
for the
ma'am,
profit.
जैसे एक्सेल्स में हम फॉर्मूले यूज करते हैं
वो
हमारे
इसमें भी
प्रॉफिट और
करेंगे।
लॉस के लिए,
Yes,
हाँ, तो
yes,
इसमें देयर
हाँ।
हैज नो एनी फॉर्मूला.
No, we will be using the formula, but this data set already had a profit in it. Means if
Okay.
the sales is 77.88 and the profit which has been received by this particular order is 3.89. So it is given, right? So there are some calculations which we'll be doing, and there is another, you can add a new column and do. So we will be doing it tomorrow in some
If
other
we
exercise.
want find interest, 7% interest or
Then that can be done. You can have a new formula, you can use the column, and then you can have. So that I have kept for the tomorrow session, because tomorrow we will be having a more time we will be spending on the query view.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next, so we have seen this second option and the third option. So I will just giving you a brief, and tomorrow we will be doing it much in detail. So you can also have, because here we are not using all the three tables, but like say supposingly if you want to use all the three tables and you want it, all the three tables should have a relationship, and to find out the relationship between the two. Right. So if I can see that what is my column, because here I am not able to see the column details. So what I can do is I can go to the another table, because there are columns. I think it is taking some time to. So let's see it afterwards, because I think it's taking time, because otherwise it is showing me the having 1,000 of records. Right. I hope you are able to see the details of the table. Are you able to see the details of the table?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So maybe it is taking time in my case. Okay, don't we move to the next, and then we come afterwards. So there is, okay. Now, so next is we can have a relationship, and the relationship is like say if you want to have a, like say first is the people. So if you want to have a relationship with the customer, or relationship with this, because I'm not able to see what is there in the particular column. So you can create a relationship, and automatically it will. There may be by default, in some of the cases by default, there is a relationship which is available. And if the relationship is not available, then you can simply have to drag and drop. So what is the column one? Column one, I think it must be customer ID, right? So if I take the customer ID, and if I put the customer ID over here, then I can see that the customer ID, okay. So it is showing me the customer ID, and in the second table, it is showing me the null value. Okay, but I think it is not loaded. That's why it is giving you the null value. Right, so you can have a relationship between the two. That finding out the relationship is very easy, because that is simply you have to drag and drop. So that we can maybe today it is open. Otherwise, we will be doing this tomorrow. We will be having the link. So now moving to the report view, right? So if I can see that, yes.
There was some disturbance. I put it here. The first column is customer ID. The second column is.
No, actually, I am not able to see because in my data view, I am not able to see the data. So that's why for this particular people and for the return. So
Okay.
that's why I am facing a problem. So I will be covering this tomorrow.
Okay, fine.
There must be some problem with this thing. So there may be. So next is we can move to the report view, right? So report view is a very extensive this thing. If you can see that the data is being already connected. So if you can see that these are all the visualizations which are there, right? So what Pivot has done, because it is already a Microsoft thing, and there are many of the charts which are available. So if you can click on this, you can see that if you put the cursor here, you can see that this is a stacked bar chart, right? Then there is another chart which is called as the stacked column chart. Then this is the cluster bar chart, right? Cluster column chart. Then you have a 100% bar chart, 100% column, right? So this is a line chart. Then there is a most popular use is the scatter chart. If you want a line and a cluster together, then you can use this chart, right? So it has different interfaces. If you want to cover the area chart, then this. So it is the data remains the same, but if the look and feel of the visuals can be changed based on the requirement or based on the data, which you find that it is more appropriately done by one chart. So you can use that particular chart. Then there is a funnel chart, which is there, which orderly gives you the data. Then you have a scatter plot, pie chart, donut chart, right? Then there is a tree map, which is there. Then very important map is there, right? So map, I think the Excel versions also have a map. If you click on the map and if the data has the latitude and the longitude of the data, it will be showing you with respect to the data. And that is very easy. Then you can play around with card. Then there is a filter. There is a matrix which is there. Like when we draw a pivot table, we can have a combination of a number of things. You can have region, you can have like the 2 or 3 options, and then you can have the summations, the grand total, subtotal, etc. Then there is a table format. The table is also come as the visualization. So not only the charts, but the table can also be table and matrix can also be come as a visualizations. Then there are the next charts which are there, which are the advanced charts, which are not there in the previous version, but this has been added on the new versions. Then when you click on this 3 dot, you will be getting more visuals also. So this will be covered in the session 4. So session 4 is about the more advanced visuals. So we will be covering the other charts which are there, and plus the more visuals which are there, and plus in addition to which, for all the small things for which are required for the data has been considered. So I start with a very basic thing, like, so this is your page, right? This, you can say that it is my canvas. So when I click on the canvas, right, I can go to the characteristics. So if this is my canvas, I go to the format of this particular canvas. So this is my page information. So you can see that this is a canvas where I can put my graph in it. And these are the settings. I can change the background. I can have the other options which are there. So most probably is used as the page information and the canvas setting. In the page information, I can see that there is a page 1 which is written, where I can double click and I can change the page name here. So this is maybe by default it is page 1, right? So I can make it as a page 1 only, and then formally when I will be using it with some graphs, I can change. So I can, this is the page information or the page properties. There you can have a canvas. So in the canvas, there are the different types. There is a top alignment, right? So it starts, all the graphs will start with the top. Then there is a canvas background. By default, it is the background as a white. If you want to change the background with something, so you can change it maybe black or something, right? So I can change it with blue or maybe black, right? If based on your choice. You can also browse the image, right? So if you have some gradient image of your background of your organization, that can also be done. Then there is transparency, which is also there, right? So but for the color, we don't want any transparency, but if it is some image or something, then you will be using the transparency. So this is a color. I have changed the color. I want this color to be used. So if I can, so now I have changed my background as a black color, right? Now I can add some visuals into it. So what I can do is, if I start with my first chart and what I want in my first chart, right? So I can say that, so in Excel again, we will be adding, we will be using a column and then we will be adding. So in the same way, if you can see that it also has an option where you can create a chart, but the chart is become very easy, and the build visuals where you can add the data into the visuals, right? So this is by default, it is helping you out with saying that you can create your visual into it. So first visual, I can start with my bar chart. So I can click on my bar chart, right? So you can see that because it is by default, it is set as the top at the top left, right, at the top. So that's why I can see that my first visual has being by default, it has been placed at the left corner of my canvas. If I want to change the size, I can change the size of my visuals also. Visual also. Now, this is the area where you have to place the things. So the first chart I want to prepare, like say, if I want to say the category wise profit, right? So if I want to make it as the category wise profit, so I can go to the order. There is a category, so I can just drag and drop the category on the y-axis, and I use another detail which is called as the profit, maybe the profit or the sales. So I go for a profit. So there is a profit, and I can just drag and drop to the another variables which is there, right? So you can see that this is what is the visual is, which shows that there are the three types of categories. The first category is the technology, the second category is the office supplies, and the third category is the furniture. And by default, it has taken as the label as x-axis and y-axis, right? And the color by default is considered to be the blue in this particular, and by default it is black. Background is black, right? So if you want to change the layout of this particular with the title, everything you can change. by where you can change is, because this section is for the visuals. If you can go down with the visuals, you can see that it will be more talking about the layout, about the tips, etc. Right, but there is another option which where you can see that there is a format, right? So when you click on the format, you can see that whether you want a y-axis to be displayed or not, right? Because you are writing the profit by category, if you want to ignore the y-axis to be written at the top and x-axis to be written, so you will be getting more space for the graph, right? So if you want to put it on or put it off, it is again, you want a label to be displayed or not, that is there. Then there is an option called legend. Legend again, because this is only the three and there is no different color which is there for the legend. So you can use the same. Then there is a grid line. That is the grid line which is on. If you can see that there are some grid line must be available. So if you want to make it as off, then you can make it as off also. Right, so grid line, if you don't want the grid line to be displayed, so that can be off. Then there are the bars. The bars are of same color. If you want that to be with a different color, then you can do that. I think there is show all is off. So you can on it and you can see that there are three different technology which is there. You want the technology to be like say the blue color, you can change here as well, right? If you want this to be a different color, so you can change the color according to you, right? That is the option which is there. You can go for spacing also if you want the spacing between the minimum category width, or if you want the spacing to be increase or decrease, width to be increase or decrease, so that can be done, right? So there, these are the next is the data labels, which is mostly we will be using it. So data labels, like you can see that there is a technology and there is it comes out to be, when you put the cursor here, you can see that it is comes out to be like 1,45,000 or something. So what I want that sum of profit to be displayed or profit to be displayed. So what I can do is I can put the label as on, and I can mention the label option as the series where I can, maybe there must be some option. Okay. So there are values which are there, but that are in the light gray color, so it is not visible. I can make it as a black color. So, and if you want, the size can also be increased, right? So you can do that. You want a decimal place to be like it is by default, it is coming as 14,145K. If you want it to be million, billion, right? So you can take the format and you can check the background and all. Right. So this is how you can create the graph. You can change the background of the graph, right? So if you want to change the background of this graph, you want the labels to be displayed as differently, so that all can be done. So visuals we have seen now. There is a title is on here, right? So if you want to see the effect of the title, if you want to change, like say the profit by category, you can do that, right? And if you want to change the size of the title, so if you want to increase the size of the title, you can do that. You want it to be central line, you can do that. You want text color to be white or something, or gray or something, so that can be done. You can change. First, you can change the background and then you can change the text color. So background can be, so this is only the background of, this is the only the background of the text. So I want to change the text color. Text color can also be changed with some light, or I can use yellow. So these are the options which are there. So you can see that there are n number of options which are there. You have checked with, if you want to size this particular graph by default, if you want to change the size, right, you can do that by increasing or decreasing, right? But if you want certain graphs to be of a fixed size, then like 500, 2000, if you want to make it, if you already know that what is the size of my this thing, so you can mention it as a number also, and you can change the size by using this arrow as well. So if I want to change the background color, and there is one more option, like say supposingly if you do not find the options here, so you can use the shortcuts as, like say if I want to check the color of the title, color of the x-axis, color of the y-axis, right? So I want to check the background color. So these are all the options which are there. So these are the title, color, then the subtitle color, divider color, background color, right? So this background, I want it to be black. So this is how you can change the background color, right? So, and if I want to see that what are my color options, so color options for the title is this one. So I can change it to white. And I want also the label options, right? Because label options are again, because they are black, so I am not able to see that. So I can go to the values or maybe this values, and this values can have the red, white color, and there can be the label. So there must be some label color, which is the gray one. So I can change that also. So this may be the vertical label. So vertical is okay. This is off. So maybe this values is actually values is which is coming out to be this axis. So similarly for the x-axis, there must be some. Right, so these are the values for the x-axis, these are the values for the y-axis. The axis I don't want to display, because here it is coming as the category and here it is coming as the sum of product. So I want it label to not to be displayed, right, to axis. So I can go to the axis, right? I remove the color, I can go to the x-axis. I do not want this to be displayed, right? No, I want the label to be displayed. I want the x-axis label to be displayed, but I don't want the heading to be displayed. So maybe there must be something called as for this category, right? So by default, it is coming as the category. If I don't want it to be displayed, so I can have, or maybe so there must be some option where you can, because yeah, sum of profit is coming and here the category is coming. So that can also be disabled. Show the title only. Okay. Okay. So in this way, you can have this one is there. This one is there. So this is the title for x-axis. And the similar way, the y-axis, there is a title. So title can be off. So you won't get, so you get enough space for this thing. So now I had covered most of the things which can be taken off to make your graph beautiful, right? With taking the first visualization, and the first visualization is the first visualization that we have taken is the first chart, that is then it is under this one. So this first chart, which is under the stacked bar chart. Right now, if I want to use different chart with the same data, right? So I can, so once you have prepared the chart, you can see, you can check with the different layouts, if it is, which is more feasible for you, like this remains the same because there is a data which is a very common data and that doesn't have any difference. If you want to go for the 100%, if you want to go for a line chart. So this is the line chart. This, if you want to see the area chart, this is the area chart. So according to the data which is available, it will be creating all the charts for you, whatever is the possible this thing which is there. So you have to make a clear judgment about the chart, which is the best chart will be used for your data set. So I have used the profit by category. Now we can move to the next chart by the profit by segment. So profit by category, I can rename is as a profit by category. Or you can rename as the chart name. Maybe this is the bar clustered bar chart. Okay, next I can prepare the same chart and the chart, maybe I can use the donut chart or something, which can mention as the profit by segment. And you have what chart you have to use? You have to use the donut chart. So what will be the steps? So I follow the same step, right? If you want to change the background of this, then you have to click here, go to the background, change the canvas background. Or if you want to try by yourself, you can try and create a donut chart for the same. So this is, I think this is a black. So this is canvas background. Okay, you have to go for transparency. So canvas background is done. Now you can create a chart which is a donut chart. So you can click on the donut. Then what is there? That is profit by segment, right? So I can click on segment, click on segment. When you click on segment, there should be a hand which has to become. Then you can have a segment as a legend, maybe. Okay, segment as a legend and values as a profit. Right. So the chart appears like this. Now what you have to do is you have to change the background title to be center aligned. Then this segment, this can be written here only, right? Because I don't want this legend to be there because it is it is space consuming, right? So this is how I can create a chart. So what all changes you have to do is you have created the chart, right? Now we can move from the format visuals. So format visuals, you want legend. Legend is this type, right? So I don't want legend to be displayed. Then when you check for the slices, the color, if you have any choices for the color, you can do that. If you have any spaces between this thing, then that can be checked or that can be used, right? I think earlier was okay, so we can go for this. Then there is an option called the detail labels, right? So in the detail labels, what all I want to spend upon, I want to say that what is going to be my label. I want the label to be like by default, it is selected as the data label percentage of total, right? So what I want all the things to be displayed. So I want a category. I want a category to be displayed. I want everything to be displayed. combine from the different. Yeah, you can do that. Because just for the we are making for the first time, so that's why I'm using different sheets. But you can use the same sheet also for creating these graphs. Yes, so this is like what all you have to change is you have to change the background. You have to change, I have already changed the consumer here, right? The consumer is coming and how percentage is also coming. I have to change the title, so I can do that, right? So I can check with this thing and I go to the general, there are general information which are there. I can have the title on, I can have the effects. So title, you have the profit by segment that can be mentioned as the title. Then you can increase the size of the title. Then the text color is the white. The background color is, I can change, it can be central align, right? If you want a text wrap, that can be done. Then there is another option called a divider. We don't want divider. We want a subtitle to be there, no subtitle, right? So title ke liye, if you want something to be there, then you have the font color. So color of the font, color and the background color. So I can check for color. If you don't found anything, then that can be done. If you want a legend to be seen, then that can be done. Value color, like values you want to display as it can be with the white color. You want a title is okay. You want a background to be changed. Driver effect the background to be changed as black, so that can be done. So if you want to change this fonts, then that you can change the size of the font, etc. Right, so this is how you can create different chart. If with this same chart, if I want to create another chart, which is called as the pie chart, right? So the steps will remain the same. I can create a pie chart. Okay, I can see that if this chart is selected, if I want to see that how the pie chart will look like. So I click on the pie chart, I can see that I think there is. So I can click on the pie chart. So again, for the pie chart, maybe I have done certain dimensions, which I have changed the size of the donut, so that is being saved. Otherwise, if you click on the donut, that is there. If you want to create a new chart as a pie chart, so I can. So I can go for adding a new visuals, and which is nothing but my pie chart. Right, and the next what I can do is I can use the profile. I can use the profit by region, right? So I can use one attribute as profit and the another is as region. So region, once the hand will appear, so you can just drag and drop to this. Then if you want profit to be there, so profit in the values. Right. So this is the chart. The same options which are available, you can change. You want to change the color, you want to change the background. There is another shortcut which is up here because you have already done the formatting for one chart, right? This chart you have already done the formatting. there is a format painter. So you click on the format painter, you just put the format painter here. So you can see that the format painter, what it has done is you don't have to do the changes again and again, but it will be helping you out in the change in the background and everything. But I think it has changed the shape of the graph also.
Ma'am, may I please ask a question? Hello? Hello, ma'am, may I please ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, till this moment, maybe we will be covering day after. These all function can be performed in Excel also. So how, maybe we haven't reached to that point yet, or how it is better than Excel?
Yeah,
These all are easily doable in Excel.
Yeah, Excel, you can create a chart because the Power BI or the Tableau, that is a data visualization tool. So the first step is to know what all are the visualizations available, right? So that's why I started with a very basic thing. But what Power BI has the additional feature is when you go for a dashboard, when you go for filter, when you go for slicer, there are additional tools which are available. Like in the pivot, we have the slicer available. We have the other things available. But the main, like in the yesterday's class, I have explained you in very much detail, like the options which is available or the things which is available in the pivot is you can take the data from multiple resources, right? So if the creation of chart, the steps for creation of chart is same. It has certain limited option because when you talk about the Excel is not the data visualization tool or not a BI tool. So there are limited options for Excel to create a graph. Like if you can see, if you can compare the graph of Power BI and graph of Excel, there is a difference, right? So there is a difference.
But ma'am, I think I just to add with Ritu, I think in Excel also we have Power Pivot, Power Map,
Yes,
pivot table, and all can be brought in the same and as a dynamic sheet. So we can bring 6 to 10 sheets and beyond that, even in Excel. So business intelligence with Excel. So I mean, so if you can just explain us like in what way this adds value than which is not there in Excel.
yes. Okay, fine. So, like because when you want a Power BI or you want to use the dashboard, you first of all you will be creating this sheets only. So that's why I have to get it started because in yesterday's class I have asked how much you are comfortable in using this tool Power BI, right? So I found there were more of the people who are just beginners.
Okay.
Right, so that's why I started with the very slowly. The tools which are available, I know that there are many more options which are available, and there are it has one or the other way you can. I think there is a lot of distance. So there are different ways for this. So how to use this? What are the features which are there? What all you can explore? There are some limitation in Excel. There are some limitation in Tableau. So this is how these tools are there. So you can be using one tool. You can do n number of things by using, like if you are using R, if you are using Python, you can do the same things. But the limitations which are there, and plus what are the advantage and disadvantage for a particular tool that you can easily see. And some people are more comfortable in Tableau, some are more comfortable in Excel. So that's why I've started with the Excel, and I am relating you to the Excel so that you can see that the features is not new, but it is already available in the Excel as well.
Monica ma'am, there's one more question from my
Yes,
side.
yes, Padma.
Any optimization like factor analysis, discriminant analysis, any such thing can be performed here using this?
No, because this is not the analytical tool. This is only the visualization tool.
Only.
But
Okay,
yeah,
ma'am.
but again, you can not the factor analysis also, but because there are certain tools like you can have the stata, you can have any number of things where you can perform those analysis. But that's why it is said to be the Power BI tool. BI tool is only for the data visualization only.
Okay, ma'am. Suppose I have like this SPSS output, I can copy the output and then I can import it here and then get the visualization done.
Yeah, you can do that. I think I will try for the next time because the PDF can be uploaded. So if you have a data,
And
in
we
the
have to
PDF,
export the PDF, right?
export the PDF. Yes. You can export the PDF. Even you can import the PDF, and that can be saved in the data set. That we will be doing in the tomorrow's class. We will start with the PDF data, and then we will be doing it. So it will be completely done in the Excel, and then you can do the analysis based on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
So this is like, say, when we have the two sheets, because in Excel, like if you want to connect with this, yes.
If I want number on the graph itself, how we can
Yes.
get it, means percentage and all?
Yes, that we have seen, like you can go to the visualization, you can go to this option, right? And then there are the values which is there. So you can scroll down, there is a data label, right? So click on the data label. By default, it is off, so you can make it on, right? And this is how you can have the for all series that is there. And for, I think, position also, you can have a inside, outside. So there are a number of options which is there. So this comes under the data label. So this was off earlier. I have put it on, so you can able to see that.
Okay, thank you.
And there is general tab also. So general has certain properties like otherwise properties where you can have a title or you can have any other thing. So this is how the visuals, the properties of the visuals are there. The general is there, where you can apply and where you can do the most of the options which is available. So I think we can make one more chart, and then we can, I will be giving you one different exercise that is a MART exercise, and then you can try to create your own this thing. Next, move to the another chart, that is if I use a matrix, right? Because this is something which is different. So I can click on the matrix chart, matrix option, and it is same as when we go for a pivot table. So if I can have the segment and the region. So if I go for one option as segment, one option as region, right? And one as sales, and the middle option as sales. Right. So this is how, because when we talk about the visualization is not only the graphs, but it is in the form of table also. So this is the table or a matrix that can be, which has a by default total option which is available. And if you want to format it with the lines, then again you can go to this format visuals. You want a grid to be a horizontal line to be displayed. You want a vertical lines to be displayed, right? The color of my lines maybe the dark one, right? So these all changes that you can do. And if you want values to be in decimal, so I can have a border. If you want a border to be which color, right? So horizontal and vertical lines are drawn. If you want another option, that is a value. If you want certain things for the value to be displayed, acha value, this is for the color. If there are certain options for the width height is there, right? So padding and position. So it is more of the padding and position which is there. Let's see if there is such values to so column subtotals if you want. So if you want to remove, so you can remove, you can add on. So there is a sum of sales and there are the options. These are most of the options which are available for the table also. And if I can just move to some other this thing. So there is a map which is again, so this is a matrix, matrix. Right. Next is I want to see the sales of the sales of the states, right? So what I can do, I can use the map, right? How to use the map is if I click on the field map or if I click on the map, right? I can move to the country is only the United States, so I can move to the states and region. I suppose there is a state subcategory is there. Then I have found somewhere. Huh?
So
There is-
down,
You can
down,
see
state is down.
state is there and
State
the
is
region
there.
is also
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I can move this state for the location, right? So I can get the states. I can move to the sales also. So sales under the data, right? So and if I want to use this fill data, right? So this is how we can get this different sales. If you want to display the sales, because by default it is coming as the state as well as the sales, right? So you can see the state and sales. If you want to do some analysis or do something based on that, so I can use the color code, maybe one color code from darker to lighter based on the numbers. So I can go to the format and check out how I can. So keep the filter. Okay, I can go to the format and try to. So there is a map setting. There is a legend. So display the map setting controls fill color. Okay. Oh, So this are giving me according to the colors of the control. So filters we will be doing in tomorrow's class. So I'm just finding it out if there is some option, because this is according to the state wise. So maybe I can check with.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
I'm not audible.
You
So-
are audible, ma'am.
Okay. So like say the dark blue color, if you can see the dark blue color, that is having a higher sale, but there is no much difference between the sales. So that's why we are not able to identify. Right. So this is very unique features where you can have like instead of using the combo box or something for the states, you can select or you can use the different options. Right. So if you want to map something, like say if I map the sales with like say if I create two different graphs in the single page, right? So if I can place the one more chart into it, like so if I can have like maybe the bar chart, because this is already country based. So I can have the chart here with respect to the city. Not, I don't take city, I take maybe region, because the region is something which belongs to my region, and I take, because this is again with respect to the sales data, so I can take the sales and region. Right. So if you want to compare, or if you want to change this, so I can change like this, right? And I can place here so that I can see both the graphs together. So if I want to see that which particular region are doing better in all my states, so I can click on the West region and I can see that this is the West region, right? This is the West region, and the consolidated sales for the West region is this much. If I click on this, then this is going to be my East region, and this is going to be the sales. Similarly, you can click on the central region, and then you can click on the, so this is how you can link between the two, and it is very easy to link. By default, it is linked. You need not have to do extra coding or so. That may be not possible in case of because you have to put the slicer, you have to put many more options that to link one chart to the another. But this is quite easy because this is, and similarly it can be the vice versa also. So if I click somewhere else, right, so I can select for all. If I click somewhere else, right, inside it, if you click inside it, then it will select for all. If I want to use for this Kansas, right, so Kansas, if I can see that Kansas belongs to the central region, and what is the portion that the census is having is in the central region is this much, right? So for the whole graph, only this much is highlighted. So in the similar way, you can have a control. You can press control and select it. So you can see that the sum of the region for the control and how it is going to be reflected. So this is the region. This is being I have selected one of the south region and region. So this you can find out that which particular region is doing you the sales and which particular is giving you the profit or so. Similarly, if you want to see the sales and the profit, because the profit is very minimum as compared to the sales. So I can maybe I can have a separate chart for the profit, or I can club this chart only with the profit. So this is the profit and this is the sales, right? So I have combined both the chart with respect to the sales and profit. So you just have to drag and drop those options inside this. Automatically, it will be aligned according to that, and the profit according to that. Like say, if you want to see the profit area for the sales and the profit area, so this is the sales and the profit area. Similarly, if you want to say, right, so this is how you can have a dynamic kind of thing where you can explain, where you can brief about where it can be not only a simple PPT, but if you have this kind of interaction with your clients, or you can have this kind of interaction in your when you want to certainly find out something in research, then you can see that which particular area I have to be more focused upon, so that I can get the maximum data, or where I can be more focused for my research. So, shall we break for 5 minutes, and then I will be giving you the case, and then you will be solving it.
Okay.
Any doubt till now? Any doubt? So I will be covering the doubt right now, so that you can easily do the exercise.
प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तभी डाउट पता चलेंगे.
Okay, okay. Okay, we break.
अभी तो सब कुछ सही सही लग रहा है, समझ में आ रहा है ना, बट करने में समझ में आएगा.
हाँ, yes. प्रैक्टिस तो ही करनी पड़ेगी, बिकॉज ओवर द टाइम यदि आप ज्यादा टाइम प्रैक्टिस नहीं करो तो यू विल फॉरगेट ऑल द फीचर्स.
या एग्जैक्टली. और
हाँ.
जिस टाइम पढ़ाया जाता है उस टाइम तो इट्स ओके, एवरीथिंग इज परफेक्ट. और बीइंग अ स्टूडेंट्स हम बाद में भूलते हैं.
Yes.
बट आपने बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया, अच्छा पढ़ाया. अब हमें ना समझ में आए वो हमारी पार्ट.
नहीं आ जाएगा, because I have seen many people who have studied from me and then they are like replying back कि मैम आपने जो पढ़ाया था we are still using in our research work, so I feel good.
अभी तो मुझे खैर इसका कोई इतना रिक्वायरमेंट होगा नहीं. आई एम अ बीसीए स्टूडेंट, साइबर सिक्योरिटी फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर, बट स्टिल अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी था, देन आई वांट टू जॉइन.
नहीं इवन रिपोर्ट्स वगैरह में, इवन प्रेजेंटेशंस में यू कैन हैव अ सेपरेट लाइक पीपीटी इज सेपरेट एंड वेयर यू कैन पुट द ग्राफ्स, और एक सेपरेट आप पावर बीआई में यू कैन पुट द प्रेजेंटेशन, बिकॉज we also tell the students that it is not only the analysis, but like for the projection of the data. Now you can better explain, like say if you want to compare the one data with another, so you can have different sheets and different dashboards, and then you can better explain.
Definitely.
So this is one thing which is being required for all the professionals.
Yeah, ma'am, good afternoon.
Yeah, Yogita, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, ma'am. So, see, Tableau and Power BI both are data visualization tool, right?
Yes.
And since I was teaching Tableau, so I can relate to this, right? So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are dashboard you are creating,
Yes.
and then filtration is also possible. Then you
Yes.
said transformation of new variable can also be done, right?
Yes,
Where
yes,
we can
same.
put our own
Everything is same. Like we called it as card there. Here also you can see the card. Like so they have given only the interface is little bit different. Interface where they have cards. Because I have also taken many workshops on Tableau, so I can also relate. So there are cards like you can change the shape, or you can have like small shape, large shape, colors, etc. You just have to click and drop. Here there are properties which you have to manage.
So
So there are small which are there.
So, ma'am, in Tableau, like we start with sheets, then dashboard, and then story, right? So here also something like this is there, or only this card is there, and here only we are making dashboard.
Yeah, here we called it as like it is not mandatory because the report itself is a kind of dashboard only. Because if I have more than more visuals into one page, like I have shown you the two visuals and they are interacting with each other, right? So that is somewhat related to dashboard only. But yeah, so they have means they have not defined much difference between a report view and a dashboard. But many visuals comes together, that becomes a dashboard only.
Okay, ma'am. So, so finally, since you have taught both, which one you prefer? Like which one you feel
I
better?
am more comfortable in, because Tableau I have already taken 3-4 workshops, and this is I am taking for the first time. So I feel more comfortable in Tableau. So that maybe 2-3 times if I take the Power BI, so maybe that will be more comfortable. Because both are taking a lot of time to open up. So that is the problem with Tableau also. And
yes, and similar kind of functionality I can see.
Yes. That is most of the things are common.
Yes.
कहना चाह रहे थे जैसे कि पावर बीआई है, टैब्लू है, आर और पाइथन, इनमें डिफरेंस क्या है?
See, R and Python is something different. But Tableau and Power BI can be relatable. You can relate Power BI and Tableau because they are both are the visualization tool. But Python has more towards the analytics side. It has a features of data visualization. It has a features of data visualization where you can create the different charts and etc. But the main purpose of Python is towards the analytics. It is not only visual analytics, but it is the analytics where you can have the images to be this thing, and there are clustering techniques, there are KNN, there are many more techniques, regression techniques which are there. So that can be easily comfortable in Python and as well as in R, because they are all the open source tool where you can find the code also available. So if you want to do something with SVM, so you can take the code, you can put your data, you can analyze it, and you can see so it can be very easy for you to analyze if you know how to write a code or how to study a code, not actually write a code, but understand the code. So if you know how to if your understanding is clear on the coding, then you are easy to relate it with any kind of data. So if you have some data which is available either in terms of feedback or in terms of text, and you apply the Python tool and you get the results. So that can be relatable, like Python and R can be compared. But Tableau and R cannot be compared, or Power BI and R cannot be compared, or Python cannot be compared.
Okay, thank you, मैम। जिसमें ये कंफर्म करना चाह रहे थे कि आप भी क्या ऐसे, जैसे अभी आपने ये पावर बीआई के लिए कोर्स निकाला अभी, है ना, शॉर्ट टर्म जो भी रहता है, तो क्या आप आर और पाइथन के लिए भी और टैब्लू के लिए अलग-अलग कोर्सेज निकालते हैं?
हाँ, ये वो भी ऐसे ही है हमारा, जैसा अभी हमने पाइथन का भी एक कर चुके हैं, आर का भी किया हुआ है, अभी नेक्स्ट वी आर प्लानिंग फॉर एक्सेल, तो एक एक्सेल का है जो ड्यू है, तो वो भी मतलब वो भी जैसे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए इट इज वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड, और व्हाट ऑल वी कैन डू, देयर आर सॉल्वर आल्सो व्हिच इज अवेलेबल व्हिच वी आर नॉट यूजिंग, डेटा टेबल है, सॉल्वर है, देन देयर आर एनालिटिक्स एनालिसिस के लिए भी देयर आर टूल पैक व्हिच इज देयर, so we normally won't use, तो उसके लिए we want students to learn those techniques also.
मैम आई रिक्वेस्ट यू कि अगर आप डेटा
Okay,
साइंस,
economics
एआई
में
या साइबर सिक्योरिटी का करते हैं तो प्लीज कंफर्म करें।
fine fine.
या मैम मैं भी इंटरेस्टेड हूँ इसके लिए, मैं भी करना चाहूंगी क्योंकि हमारे यूज में डेली में रहता है डेटा एनालिसिस वगैरह सारा।
मैम एक्सक्यूज मी, हेलो।
Yeah.
मैम इसमें जो डाटा है ऑटोमेटिक अपडेट होता है अगर मैं कहीं चेंजेस करूँ तो?
हाँ, इसमें जो डेटा है वो जैसे आप जैसे रियल टाइम आप डेटा लोगे, इफ रियल टाइम इफ यू टेक अ रियल टाइम डेटा देन दैट विल बी अपडेटेड, बट आपका जो डेटा है देन यू हैव टू डू द रिफ्रेश, जैसे हम एक्सेल में करते थे, यू हैव इफ देयर इज सम चेंज इन द डेटा शीट, जैसे आपने डेटा को मैप किया हुआ है एंड you are using that in the Tableau, so you have to mention there is one command which is there which we were discussing yesterday कि आप उसको मैप कर सकते हो, क्योंकि नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि आपका जो पावर बीआई का इंटरफेस है दैट बिकम्स वेरी हैवी, तो हम उसको डिस्कनेक्ट कर देते हैं, वी डू नॉट वांट इट टू बी whatever be the changes done in Excel will reflect in Power BI, so we disconnect that. In the similar way, यदि आपका real time में data है, like if you are having Oracle or if you are having this thing, so when you click on refresh, it will be automatically reflecting the database also. Refresh से हो जाएगा, जैसे आपका Excel में होता है वैसे refresh से इसमें भी हो जाएगा. So whether it is a data or whether it is any chart which you have applied, so that will be automatically changed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. So the only thing is left is related to the date. I have not covered so far, so I just first covered that, and then we will be using the second case, which is second data set, which is on Amazing Mart. So I just share with you the data because that is again one of the important features of the data, that is the format which is called as the date. So I have prepared this map. Now I move to for the date, year, wise profit, or I can say month wise. Quarter, the month is the date is again one of the important aspect for any data. So if I start with the date, there is a order date which is available. So what I can do is I can create a new sheet and I take my chart, right? I select my visuals. I click on visuals and it's selected. Then I go to my data set. I take as a order date. If you have not changed the format of date, then it won't be coming as the date. I put the date here, right? And then I select the profit as a second parameter, right? So I take the select. So if you can see this date, you can find out that it is a year-wise data, right? It's a year-wise data. And it is giving you, if you have selected the order, it has by default as year, quarter, right, month, and the day. So if you want to select, if you say the line graph is the perfect one for this. So line graph may you can select, if you can select this, and if you can find out, like say, if I only want the month to be displayed. So this is the first level of hierarchy, right? So you can see the hierarchy. First is the month, right? Then you get the month to be displayed. Then you get a quarter to be displayed. So this is how you have the details to be fetched out. And if you want to remove, so this is month-wise data. So if you can see that this is January, quarter one, quarter January, then this is February, March, April, May, June, and so on. So this is a detailed data. If you want to remove the day, then it can be removed. If you want to remove the month, then this will be the quarter and year wise. Right? So January to July, there are 2 quarters. So the first quarter is so 3 months has become the 1 quarter. So you will be having the data from 2016 to 2019, and which has different 4 quarters per year. So this is how you can, and if you want to add the sales also. So if I want to add sales also, so I can add sales and profit. So this is the sales and this is the profit. There are 2 data for sales and profit. If I want to use this one, and if I want to see the line and cluster, right? So this is the profit, and this is the profit comes the sales. So if, again, if you want to have it like this, so you can have like this. So this is coming up to be the year wise. So year wise, you can see that quarter 4 and 2019 is the highest this thing, and how it has been increased from quarter 1 to quarter 4. So every time from quarter 1 is quite low, and then it has been increased from the quarter 1 to quarter 5.
Ma'am, if I want to know कि मेरा कौन सा customer repeated है,
not Simran, what you want me to repeat?
Ma'am, if I want कि हमारा repeated customer कौन है, कौन सा customer है जो सबसे ज्यादा order कर रहा है, वो हमें पता करना है. तो how
can you repeat again?
Who is our repeated customer? Yeah.
Concept. Yeah, concept of the repeated customer.
Yeah.
Yes. So uske liye to I think you can like in the repeated customer, you can have the number of orders for that particular this thing. So we can have year, and you can have count with the customer IDs. And I think that will be working fine. So I can have the customer ID. If I have the customer ID, so this is the customer ID which is there. Okay. Before that, I can select the any. Okay.
Actually, I just missed the starting part. Can you please explain that again?
Okay, the starting part. Okay, in the starting, yes, I will repeat. So these are the customer list we have, and if you want to see the number of records for the customer, so you want a count, right? So I can have this thing, and I can say, okay, I can take the values and put it as a count. So I can take for a row. Right. So I think now this will give you This will give you the most repeated customer. You can have it in the decreasing order. Maybe I think in the filter you can have the count in the decreasing order will give you a feel of who all are my this thing. So I think the highest is 20, 20 and then 21, 21. So this is the customer which is the more frequent buyer according to the list.
मैम जैसे कोई कस्टमर ऑर्डर करता है, जैसे हम लोग शॉपिंग करते हैं ऑनलाइन,
हाँ.
ठीक है, तो कई बार होता है हम लोग कोई प्रोडक्ट को रिटर्न भी करते हैं,
हम्म.
तो वो हमारी शॉपिंग में नहीं आएगा ना, वो तो हमारा रिटर्न लॉस हो जाएगा। तो
रिटर्न
वही
लॉस
मुझे
हो
जानना
जाएगा।
है कि हाँ हमारा कितना रिटर्न करने के बाद
हाँ.
हमारा कौन सा कस्टमर है जो सबसे मैक्सिमम शॉपिंग करता है हमारी साइट से,
Yes. So
और
you have to
रिटर्न्स
take
भी
the
हो उसमें।
return.
हाँ,
Yes, yes.
मुझे
So I
सारा
think
कुछ जानना है।
yeah. So return के केस में अब ये तो आपका कस्टमर वो हो गया। रिटर्न के केस में we have to subtract from the order. So उस केस में we have to map because we have a separate table as return also. है ना? We have a separate table as return. Those who are customer which has return. So tomorrow when we start with the session, so we will be starting with the data modeling. Data modeling में we will be mapping the two tables. And then we will be considering that we will be making a query, and that query will be something which is based on the actual order placed. Right? So जो हम आज बात कर रहे थे कि we will be having a new column. So we will be creating a new column, and that will be based on the order plus order minus the return. So something like that. So that can be helping us in finding out the actual order placed.
ओके मैम। मैम इसके क्या कुछ नोट्स भी हम लोग को प्रोवाइड करे जाएंगे?
नहीं, इसकी वीडियोस होंगी जो आपकी मोस्ट प्रोबेबली आज शाम को नहीं तो कल आ जाएगी। तो बाकी ये है कि व्हाटएवर शीट्स आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग विथ यू, आई विल शेयर दैट।
कुछ पीडीएफ नोट्स हो जैसे हम लोग को चीजें रिमाइंड रहे या लाइफ टाइम कभी हमें जरूरत हो तो हमसे रिपीट कर सके।
श्योर श्योर, आई विल ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट यदि कुछ ऐसा मटेरियल मिलता है तो आई विल बी डेफिनेटली शेयरिंग विथ यू।
थैंक यू मैम।
So I think there is one query related to like what I have. So I have discussed about because the data type as date which we have not discussed. So for that I have taken one date and the profit according to the date wise. So date, once you select the date, it will be divided into the different hierarchy. Like in case of country, in case of country, we have city, we have state, then we have city, etc. In the similar way, so hierarchy, you can create hierarchy as well. So plus by default, the Power BI creates a hierarchy for you. So you have the order date. So order date will starts with year first, the year may, then we have quarter, then we have months. So if you want to find out which particular month is more having the best sales, which comes under which quarter, which year. So in that particular case, you can select or you can go for the option that is called as the date, and you can divide it into different months as well as in the quarter. So this is how we have created one table. I think this is the new. So you can select the old one, you can select, and then you want to change the graph. Right. So this is according to the question. So if you want to see that what all I have covered the year as well as the quarter. Right. So month are not covered. If you select the months also, then it will be showing you. So it is showing you only the quarter as well as the quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and so on. And the profit also according to the quarter. Okay. So a date by default there is a hierarchy, but if the proper date format is there, then there is a hierarchy of year, quarter, then month, and then the day. Right. So I just share with you the next exercise, the next data sheet with you, so that you can start making the visuals and that what we have discussed so far. So you can define, like say this is the data sheet. So what I want from you is you can have region wise region wise, so it has the breakdown, order breakdown is there, and there is a sales target also. So you can have category wise sales, right? So I can give you questions only based on order breakdown, because we had not done the mapping so far. So what I want to do is category wise sales, right? You can select according to your interest. You can select any chart according to your interest. You have to prepare category wise sales. Then you have to create category comma subcategory. Wise profit. Instead of sales, you can take profit. Right, then you can have number of orders for category. So number of orders for all categories. Right. So you have to create different charts that we have discussed. The first is the category wise sales. Second is you can have category wise profit. Or fourth, you can have category wise profit. Then categories and subcategory wise profit. Number of orders for all the categories. So you have to take count for category wise, right? Then category wise profit. So I just mentioned it in the this thing WhatsApp group also, right? So so that you can solve and you can share it there as well.
Done, ma'am. कर दिया मैंने WhatsApp group में से.
कर दिया? अच्छा, ठीक. So if you have any questions related to this, so you can ask in the WhatsApp group only. So this is the exercise for the day. Then we will be starting the tomorrow's class with the data set, which is provided to you. So this is the homework for today. You have to do this and you have to share in the WhatsApp group.
Ma'am, where is the color option for different categories?
Yeah, color option is again in the general. If you can share me the screen, I can tell you.
Okay, wait.
That is in the general. So you can go to this build visual, second option. This painter, right hand side. Build visual is there. Build visual.
Yes,
After the build visual, there is a you can click here.
Visual. Okay.
And
Yeah.
here you can see the different options. You can type in search, you can type as color. So you will be getting all the color this thing. So this is a title color, this is a value color. So maybe either this one or maybe for the different values. I think for the different values, it will be down below. You can see down below, there must be something for the data label. Data label is off. I think this must be the their values here. No. Okay, I will just search. It will be giving you different options where you can select, one for each. Okay, I will just tell you. Not here, not here. Oh, just wait.
Shall I stop sharing my screen if you want to share?
Yeah.
How do I select product category on x-axis or y-axis?
You can use the table option or a matrix option.
Fair, ma'am. Like there are three options: filter, visualization, and data. So from data, I need to pick product category and drag it to x-axis.
Yes.
How do I do it? If I am getting it, can I share my screen?
Yeah, just a minute. I am into something else. Just a minute. I think that must be somewhere here. If you have this, I have a y-axis. Then there is a title for y-axis. Bars. Under the bars, there is show all. Under bar, there is show all.
Okay, ma'am. I'll check there. Bar.
Yeah, there is under bar. A bar, then there is a color. So there is option for blue, and if you want to show all, then you can select with the other colors. Yeah, I think there was a question from Rain. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So maybe in your screen only, like I just want to start. So maybe if I have selected a bar chart where I want to put category on x-axis and sales on y-axis, so that I can fulfill the assignment given by you. So I was, as a first step, how do I bring the product category on x-axis?
Product. It is very simple.
Yeah.
Like say if you okay, I will show with the new. So which particular chart you are making?
Vertical bar, ma'am. On the left side of
left.
Yes, this one.
So you click here, you get a bar.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you want category.
Product category on x-axis.
Product category on x-axis. Then you want subcategory. Category.
Okay. How do I get? Okay.
And profit.
Okay.
So it is technology. Under technology, there were 4 subcategories. Then under office supplies, there are this much subcategories and this much subcategories.
It is simple drag and drop, no, ma'am?
You can simple drag and drop.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I was trying,
that also will work, because here we are using the x-axis, y-axis, but that also will work. If you have, because if you can see that this category, it has 2 categories. One is
Just
category
select
and one is subcategory.
drag and drop also.
Drag and
just-
drop will also work.
okay, so this option is in under build visual.
Under build, yeah, build visual, all are under build visual only. Because here first step is you are creating the space under your canvas. So this is your page. This is your page, you are creating a visual, right? Which kind of visual you want? So suppose you have selected this, so click on this. So you get a visual here.
Yes.
For this visual, you can apply the category and subcategory. So you can drag and drop. Then there can be any other, like say if I want to go for segment, and if I want to go for sales. Right, so I have dragged all the 3 according to his judgment he has taken. If you want to change the graph, like say supposingly if I want to create a table for this. So this is my table, which has technology, the consumers that comes all 3 consumers, then we have technology, then we have this. If you want to take a graph, then this will be the graph. So there are 3 technology, there are 3 there are 3 options: technology, furniture and office supplies. Under the technology, there are options as for consumer and for this. If you want to do vice versa, so I think there is no shortcut, or there can be, first you have to select category, then first you have to select segment, and then you have to create category, or there must be some option which is there. Because in usme you can use the transpose option, which is available in the Excel. So I think yahan pe bhi there must be some option where you can have the transpose, where you can make the furniture like consumers. Under the consumers, there is like technology. Then under consumer you have furniture, and under consumer you have office supply.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, export the output in PDF. I think there must be option where I can go for export option. So there is an export. Export in the Power BI template is there, and export in PDF is there. So when you are using an export, it is exporting the whole document. Because I have not selected any particular document, so it is exporting the whole document. So I have export this particular PDF. It is not giving me the Excel, but anyway, you can convert the PDF to Excel. So it has given me the PDF file for all my graphs which I have prepared. Right. So this is page 3, page 4, and page 5, and so on. So you can just finish your work that is assigned to you and share it on the WhatsApp. So how to save the document? You have to click on save button and maybe that is available in where you want to save under your folder. So this is day 2.
Ma'am, are we supposed to do these assignments right away or we can submit it later?
It is up to you. If you want to do it right now, you can do it. And if you have any difficulty, then we can discuss on the WhatsApp group. So
Okay,
I'm just
ma'am.
sharing the feedback and attendance link with you.
Okay. So then we can leave the meeting. right?
Then you can leave. Or I can put it in the WhatsApp group only.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
I can do that. Fine.